For 42 years, Sally Harrison has been building a library. Ever since her daughter Ella turned one, every year Sally has bought her a book on her birthday. Each book is thoughtfully picked after much consideration, and Sally writes a note inside every book that explains why she chose that particular book for her daughter that year. But Ella has never seen the library. 21 years ago, after a huge argument with her mother, she left home to go to Australia and has never looked back. She has no idea that Sally has kept up the tradition of buying her a special book every year and built a beautiful, cozy library right at home. The Memory Library by Kate Storey is a book about a beautiful library specially curated by a mother for her estranged daughter. If you love books, do watch till the end for a concept that will blow your mind. To find out more, let's switch on the reading lamp. Hello, I'm Asaveri, and on this channel, I review books and talk about reading in general. Shall we have a look at the details of today's book?
Facts and figures.
The Memory Library is a contemporary fiction novel written by Kate Storey, which is a pseudonym of British author Lisa Timoney. The book was published by Avon this year in February 2024. It is 337 pages long and it's available in paperback, Kindle and audiobook format. The link to buy the book is in the description and pinned comment below. The audiobook is available on Storytel. Now let's talk about the actual contents of the book. But as you know, no spoilers, no worry. Just
The cover story.
the book begins with a scene 34 years ago on Ella's 8th birthday. Sally is reading a bedtime story to Ella and she's reading aloud Jo's poem from the book Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. It is Ella's gift for her 8th birthday and Ella is excited to have her own copy of the much loved book. We get an inkling that all is not well with their world because Daddy is not home. He doesn't seem to be interested in spending time with his family, even on his daughter's birthday. In the present day, Ella receives a phone call in Sydney, where she lives with her husband Charlie and 8-year-old daughter Willow. She hasn't been home to London in decades. The phone call is from her mother's friend and neighbor Glenda to inform Ella that her mother has had a fall. She's in the hospital and about to have a surgery. It seems as if Ella is more worried about how to take care of her work obligation than she is about how she can take care of her mother. But finally, she does take a month off from work and goes to London to look after her mother. Sally has injured both her arms, and while she manages to take care of her basics, she needs a lot of help around the house. Ella has always thought of her mother as an efficient, no-nonsense woman. Seeing her as a vulnerable woman who's getting older is unsettling for her. As she begins to spend time with her after a long time, she slowly begins to question her own judgment about her mother. So what has gone wrong between mother and daughter? Is it a genuine grievance or a misunderstanding? And how do they resolve the standoff? And where does the memory library fit into this picture? To find the answers to those questions, you would have to read the book. But let me tell you what I think about this book so that you can decide if you want to spend time finding out those answers.
Speaking my mind.
The book is not a thriller, but there is suspense about what went wrong between mother and daughter and what is Sally hiding from her daughter. As events unfold, you begin to see the whole picture. There are subplots about other people's lives that the book touches upon briefly, and they add human interest to the overall novel. The book is about love, and it has many facets. The love of a mother for a child, because of which she protects the child even at a cost to herself. The love of a daughter for her mother, because of which she drops everything to go to her mother when she needs her, even though she's still holding on to a major grudge. It's also about a sense of community, about love and affection between friends, and about supporting each other. And of course, a lot of it is about the love of books. The concept of the memory library is the star of the story. I won't say a lot because the blurb on the book only tells us that every year on Ella's birthday, Sally adds a book to the library she's building for her, and that she writes a special note to Ella inside the cover of each book. If I say any more, it would act as a spoiler. But here's why the concept blew my mind. Sally spends the whole year thinking about which book to give Ella for her next birthday. The idea of thoughtfully picking the perfect book for your child based on where they are in life right now and what would serve them as a guide for the rest of the year, and then writing a note inside the book telling them precisely why you chose that particular book is so wonderful. In fact, this has prompted my 14-year-old and me to start a memory library for each other starting this year. As book readers, we have a tendency to give books as gifts. I feel like we ought to do this thing with every book that we give as a gift. Usually, I just write happy reading and love from and so on. But it would be so much better if we wrote a few words telling the person why we chose that particular book for them. Makes it so much more personal and meaningful. I won't say more about how the library figures into the plot because, like I said, that would spoil the story. But let me read out a quote from the book about the library.
Quote unquote.
I think everyone should have a library that's been made for them specially, with lovely words about why a particular book was chosen. It would be a hell of a lot more meaningful than a card. Anyone who's survived another year on this earth deserves a few hundred pages and a dedication. This is about books that are gifted. But what about the books we buy for ourselves? The book got me thinking. Usually, when we buy books, we inscribe it with our name, the date, sometimes the place. What if we also wrote a little note to ourselves about why we picked up that particular book, or who we were with, and what else did we do? Imagine picking up the book from your bookshelf a few years later and reading a little note about the day you bought it. Wouldn't it be a wonderful glimpse at our own evolution as a reader? I would love to know if you already do something like this. Or if not, what comes to your mind now that you've heard of this concept? Please do drop a comment below and tell me your ideas. We can collectively come up with ideas that can really enhance the joy we get from our own collections of books. Now it's time for the LINEDSCAPE rating of the book.
LINEDSCAPE Rating.
As you know, LINEDSCAPE is an acronym for the 10-factor book rating system that I've devised. You can find a link up there or in the description below to a more detailed video about it. You can check that out. So, here goes. L for language. The language is conversational and casual. It's like listening to a friend talking. And the tone suits the subject and setting. 9 on 10. I for impact. There are two main things that this book gave me. First, of course, is the memory library idea, which I've already talked about enough. Secondly, it highlighted the importance of clear communication. So much of the heartache in this book could have been avoided if only the characters talked to each other and asked instead of assuming. It served as a reminder for me to do the same in real life. 9 on 10 for impact. And for novelty. The concept of memory library and having it as the central theme for a book is pretty unique. 8 on 10. E for engagement. I felt involved in the lives of all the characters. I was also intrigued by the reasons behind the estrangement of mother and daughter and its resolution. 8 on 10. D for descriptions. The descriptions are chatty but to the point. 8 on 10. S for sense, also known as logic. The story flows easily, but some of the situations or events seemed blown out of proportion. There were places where I thought, really? The lack of communication, especially between the characters that ought to be close, seems somewhat unrealistic. 7 on 10. See, for characters, some characters seem one dimensional, like someone is too good, someone else is too immature. A few characters also felt a bit contrived, as if the author was trying hard to be politically correct. 7 on 10. A for aesthetics. The cover is pretty and has a dreamy, magical look. The story on the blurb is a decent outline. The print font is good sized and clearly legible, something that becomes more important as I get older. 8 on 10. P for plot. There's family, there's friendship, there's drama. It's a gentle novel with enough puzzles to keep a person interested. 8 on 10. E for enjoyment. This is an easy, leisurely read, something you can carry in your bag and read in bits and pieces. 8 on 10. That gives us a total score of 80 on 100, which translates into 4 stars. Now it's time to put my thoughts.
In a nutshell.
The Memory Library is an entertaining novel. It might have just a few flaws, but the story flows at a comfortable, steady pace with enough twists and turns to keep you intrigued and without any jarring notes. It's like a cup of hot chocolate on a cold night. It might be too sweet, but it warms you up from the inside. And it does serve as a reminder of how important communication is for healthy relationships. It's a great read, especially on a vacation or anytime you're in the mood for an interesting but relaxing read. I usually look for such books after binging on thrillers and chillers. I recommend reading this warm, easy novel that rates 4 stars on my LINEDSCAPE rating system. You can buy it from the Amazon link in the description or the pinned comment below. I upload a fresh episode every week. If you like this episode, do give me a thumbs up. Also, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you never miss an episode. And please share with your friends and family. The more, the merrier. This is Asaveri signing off for now, and until the next time, have fun under the reading lamp. Switch on, read on.